Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
A potential trade row between Jamaica and Brazil over the corned beef ban, our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, March 24th from the CMC News Centre in Bridgetown. I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. It appears Jamaica and Brazil could find themselves in a trade row over the island's ban on corned beef imported from the South American country. Both sides are taking hard positions in the matter. Jamaica was the first of several Caribbean countries that banned corned beef and meats from Brazil, following reports that several major meat processors were selling rotten beef and poultry. The companies are also alleged to have paid hefty bribes to auditors in exchange for fraudulent sanitary licenses. The Brazilian embassy in Kingston on a Friday asked the Jamaican government to lift what it described as the unilateral ban. It insisted that of the 21 companies under investigation, only 6 have exported within the last 60 days, and none of those exports were made to Jamaica. Brazil says its Ministry of Agriculture has a rigorous inspection service for animal products with permanent auditing, monitoring, and risk assessments. But Kingston is not taking any chances. Industry, Commerce and Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Carl Samuda insists the ban on the product will stay in place until relevant tests have been completed. And he says no permission will be given for the sale or distribution of corned beef from Brazil until the government gets adequate assurance that the products are safe for consumption. Tests are being done to ascertain the contents of corned beef on the market and whether contaminants are present in the products. More in this report from Herman Green of TVJ News.
Permanent Secretary Donovan Stanbury explained that the tests for contaminants in corned beef imported from Brazil started with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, BSJ. The BSJ is doing chemical tests to identify any contamination that may have resulted from rotten meat, which it's alleged a major supplier in Brazil is using.
Our lab at the Veterinary Services Division will test microbiological tests. In fact, we are even going to the extent of doing DNA tests. And for that, we have to send samples abroad to establish that what is in the corned beef is really from beef.
The government issued a ban on the importation and sale of corned beef on Monday. There were mixed responses from local distributors, with some complying and others insisting that their suppliers were not under investigation. But Mr. Stanbury says since then, they have supported the ban. He says they're collaborating with the ministry's probe. A government team will be heading to Brazil next week.
And on that team would be some of the very representative of the distributors. So we'll go directly to those facilities where local corned beef is processed and from where it is exported to here. So we at the end will be able to say that the corned beef from this facility that is in our stores in Jamaica is good or is not good.
The results of the test will be available in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Mr. Stanbury is reminding the public that the ban on sales still stands. He says while the ministry has been monitoring large supermarkets, it does not have the resources to check small stores and shops.
People have to, frankly, take some responsibility for their own health. And if you have stocks of corned beef in your house, in your possession, just put it away for a while until you get further particulars somehow.
Over in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the election petitions filed by the main opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, challenging the outcome of the December 2015 general elections in 2 constituencies will be heard on May 2nd and 4th. Chief Justice Janice Pereira has appointed High Court Justice Esco Henry to hear the case after the Court of Appeal ruled on March 7th that a decision by the first High Court judge who threw out the petitions last June was tainted by apparent bias. The NDP is contesting the outcome of the elections in the Central Leeward and North Windward constituencies and is asking the court to either declare its candidates the winners of those seats or order fresh elections. In the December 9th poll, the Unity Labour Party won by a slender one-seat majority in the 15-member parliament, allowing it to enjoy a fourth consecutive term in office. The respondents have asked the court to throw out the petitions as improperly filed. Belize opposition leader John Briceño is calling for the legalization of marijuana in that country. He made that appeal during his contribution to the 2017 budget debate. It's not the first time the issue of decriminalizing marijuana has come up. Back in 2015, the cabinet had expressed support in principle for the decriminalization of the herb after a special committee released its findings on the benefit of ganja. But the idea received strong opposition from the churches. Now, Briceño says his People's United Party is willing to move the process forward.
It is time for us to stop locking up our young people for a stick of weed. The time has come for us to decriminalize marijuana smoking and prepare the necessary research to move to legalize marijuana for medicinal purposes and in small quantities.
Over in Bermuda, health officials are dealing with a crisis at the island's main hospital. There are no free beds. Chief Executive Officer of the Bermuda Hospitals Board, Vanetta Simmons, says authorities are managing the situation as best as they can, but it is a serious challenge. As a result, acutely ill patients and urgent surgeries will take priority at the King Edward VII Memorial Hospital.
There are no patient beds right now at the hospital. And what does that mean? It means if you need acute care in the community, of course, you're going to come to BHB. But right now, every single bed in our emergency department and in our new acute care wing is completely full. We have been experiencing increases in capacity within the last couple of months. Yes, there are a lot of respiratory illnesses right now, but there are a multitude of factors that are making it difficult for BHB to empty beds. Please be assured that we are working with the Minister of Health and other stakeholders to manage the medium and long-term needs for Bermuda, but right now in this immediate situation, I will go as far as to say that operationally, internally to BHB, it is a crisis.
In other news, the Bank of Guyana is accusing exporters of causing a slide in the Guyana dollar by locking off foreign exchange in their accounts while at the same time buying currencies on the open market. In a statement issued on Thursday, the bank said the practice of currency hoarding by exporters has put pressure on the demand for foreign currency and reduced supply to the market. It said both factors have contributed to the instability and depreciation of the rate. The bank explained that position amid claims by the Guyana Manufacturers and Services Association that the dollar is losing value. More in this report from Ivor Wharton of Capital News.
The Bank of Ghana today refuted claims by the Guyana Manufacturers and Services Association that the dollar was losing value and stood at Ghana $230 to $1. The Bank of Ghana said the claim by the GMSA that the effective rate for the US dollar is Ghana $230 is not only misleading but is also of a kind that does nothing more than add fuel to the rising speculative and destabilizing activities in the foreign exchange market, all of which could be harmful to the economy. According to the Bank of Ghana, the rate quoted by the Manufacturing Association is not a uniform transaction rate, but it is the online rate of exchange for one of the largest commercial banks in Ghana for its credit and debit card transactions, which represents a very small share of the Cambio market transactions. At the end of last week, the exchange rate for buying U.S. currency was 214 Ghana dollars and selling was 218 Ghana dollars. The release also stated that last week some US $40 million was turned over, with purchases and sales at bank cambios being $19.6 million and $20.4 million respectively. The Bank of Ghana again noted the hoarding of foreign currency by exporters. It also reiterated that there is no shortage of foreign currency.
There's still more to come in Caribbean Newsline. Stay with us.
Come play at the 50th edition of Antigua Sailing Week. Not a sailor? Not a problem. Chase the race from the best beach locations and party in the ocean. On our beaches, a different one each day. Take a drink, take another. Hula, play, dance in the sand. Dance to reggae, to soca, to the beat of your own drum under the moonlight. 7 beach days and party nights. Come play at the 50th edition of Antigua Sailing Week, April 29th to May 7th, 2017. Are you up for the challenge?
Straight out of the bodacious and beautiful culture of the Caribbean comes a music and talent competition like no other. Brace yourself for the exciting, entertaining, extraordinary, and new reality docuseries, Icon of the Islands. The story begins in the breathtaking backdrop of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Every year, this is where a wide and diverse range of contestants of all ages and backgrounds audition for a wildly popular and prominent local talent competition. And the ultimate goal for each contestant is to win.
I already have my favorites, but my favorites may not prevail tonight.
Some moments will bring performers to their knees, while some performances will bring fans to their feet. Get ready to see which star will be the last one shining in the spotlight as the stars align this season on Icon of the Islands.
Welcome back. WRB Enterprises, the owners of Grenada's electricity company, Grenlec, has formally submitted proposals to government to activate a repurchase agreement asking for close to $177 million. The company is accusing the Keith Mitchell government of unilaterally enacting legislation that has triggered numerous repurchase events, including repealing Grenlec's comprehensive and exclusive right to generate, distribute, and sell electricity in Grenada. Last year, Parliament approved legislation that the government said would lead to a comprehensive reform of the electricity sector, opening the door for other investors to generate electricity using renewable energy resources. We get more in this report from GBN's Eugenia Peters.
WRB says it was never its intention to proceed along this route, but its hands were forced after it began receiving varying penalties. In their demand, WRB says reforming the sector was possible had the government gone along with a partnership proposal. President of WRB Enterprises, Chairman and Managing Director of Grenada Private Power, Bob Blanchard, told a media brief on Wednesday afternoon that had the government been willing to negotiate amicably, this development would not have occurred.
Had the government participated in a collaborative process with us, the nation would be so much farther along, and the need to pursue this action today would have been avoided. Regrettably, government has refused to participate in any meaningful way, leaving GPP with no acceptable recourse other than to initiate the repurchase process. We need to protect the legal rights of GPP and its shareholders, as well as the interest of all Grenlec shareholders.
He says the share purchase demand was triggered by the recent Electricity Supply Act of 2016, which was enacted without Grenlec's collaboration. He added the act violates the share purchase agreement entered into in 1994, which has governed Grenlec's operations for the past 23 years.
First off, Grenlec's exclusive right to generate, distribute, and sell electricity in Grenada was abrogated and withdrawn. Second, the term of Grenlec's license was extinguished by at least the final 31 years of its operating rights and authority. Third, Grenlec's contractually negotiated and mandated rate-making and cost recovery rules and procedures that had governed Grenlec's operations were revoked. And finally, Grenlec's exemptions from customs and other import duties for equipment and materials was repealed.
WRB says government is now obligated to repurchase the shares. If this is not possible, the company says it is willing to sit around the table for negotiations. If the shares are not purchased, WRB says it would move to initiate the arbitration procedures under the terms of the share purchase agreement. That process will be spearheaded by ICSID, an arm of the World Bank responsible for settling disputes.
Several religious officials, including pastors from across the Caribbean, have called on the United States to halt the promotion of LGBT rights abroad. A report published in LGBT publication The Washington Blade said 289 ministers of religion from the Bahamas, St. Martin, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana made the request in a letter sent to U.S. President Donald Trump earlier this year. They pointed to the policies of the U.S. State Department and other government agencies involved in foreign policy that will try to coerce other countries into accepting a, quote, mistaken version of marriage, end quote. The leaders lamented that threats of loss of funds were being used to force other countries to fall in line with the same-sex agenda. The former mayor of a small Haitian village in 2012 has been sued in a United States federal court for human rights abuses. The Center for Justice and Accountability and the multinational Denton's law firm Thursday filed the civil lawsuit that accuses Jean-Maurice Villena of torture, extrajudicial killings, attempted extrajudicial killing, and arson. He's being sued under the Torture Victim Protection Act of 1991, which gives foreign victims of human rights abuses the right to sue in U.S. courts whenever the perpetrator is found in the U.S. Lawyers are seeking unspecified compensatory and punitive damages against Villena, now a Boston school bus and Uber driver, on behalf of 3 victims. The lawsuit alleges that after his 2006 election as mayor, Villena led an armed militia in a campaign of terror against media activists and human rights defenders. In 2007, his supporters led a reprisal attack against a human rights activist after the activist denounced him in court for assaulting a neighbor. The attack led to the death of the activist's brother. The following year, after Villena announced on air that he was shutting down a community radio station, his supporters invaded the host's home and she was beaten and shot and had to get one of her legs amputated. Another person in the house was blinded in one eye by Villena's supporters. Villena fled to Boston after a criminal investigation was opened against him in 2009 when a Haitian investigative judge indicted him for murder, battery, and property destruction. And ahead in Newsline Sport, a Jamaican athlete dismisses a charge that she violated anti-doping rules. Sport is next. Stay with us.
Picture this. Get away to one of the world's most beautiful islands to experience the Digicel Barbados Reggae Festival 2017. 4 of the biggest reggae events. April 23rd to April 30th. Featuring the biggest names in reggae. Popcorn, Spragga Benz, Sanchez, Marcia Griffiths, Capleton, Conscience, Ventures, Flower Gun, Glen Washington, Cocoa Tea, won't you go home to your mama, and many more. Purchase your event tickets from ticketpal.com. For more details, follow Barbados Reggae Festival on Facebook or Instagram. Barbados, always on.
Awards for Excellence invites nominations for its next awards cycle in the categories Arts and Letters, Science and Technology, Public and Civic Contributions, and Entrepreneurship. Join the growing college of distinguished laureates from throughout the region we've honored in the last decade. Visit www.answercaribbeanawards.com for forms and instructions. Nominations close on March 31st.
It's not about exercising. It's having the strength to do what you're passionate about. It's not about the road traveled. It's about the one to be traveled. An important thing in life is finding the perfect balance between body and soul. With a bottle of Ensure, you get the proteins, calcium, and 26 vitamins and minerals your body needs to live the best moments of your life with strength and energy. Your life, your health, your Ensure.
Oh, welcome back. We continue with sports. Baseless, that's how Jamaican athlete Khalees Spencer is describing a charge by the Jamaican Anti-Doping Commission that she violated the rules by not submitting a sample. The Commonwealth Games gold medalist in hurdles, along with world champ bronze medalist Riker Hilton, are facing sanctions for the alleged violation. But in this report from TVJ Sport, the Jamaican athlete is going the legal route to clear her name.
A press release sent by Khalees Spencer's manager, former World 200 meters finalist Marvin Anderson, said the hurdler categorically refutes any assertion that she has refused or evaded a drug test, and the allegation is simply false, as Ms. Spencer has always made herself available to be tested by JADCO. The statement, which confirmed that the 2014 World Indoor 400 and 4x400 meter relay silver medalist was recently notified by JADCO of the alleged violation of JADCO's anti-doping rules, also indicated that the hurdler has already sought legal advice to challenge the charge. Speaking on Hits 92 FM's morning program Sports Explosion, Anderson hinted that JADCO did not follow prescribed procedures for sample collection.
JADCO had a duty to notify the athlete, and at no time was the athlete notified that she was selected for testing. And as such, the athlete Khalees Spencer, she's going to fight this, and she will not allow JADCO to tarnish her name and allow this situation to bring anything negative to her career.
The press release from Anderson added that Spencer's management and legal teams view this alleged violation as entirely baseless and intends to pursue all legal channels necessary to protect her good name and her reputation as a true ambassador of Jamaica. The statement came less than 24 hours after the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association, J3As, confirmed being notified by JADCO of the anti-doping rule violations of Spencer and 2011 World Championship mile relay bronze medalist Riker Hilton. Hilton also refuted the claim when our sports desk contacted him on Monday. A date for the hearings of Spencer and Hilton, which will be conducted by the independent anti-doping disciplinary panel, is yet to be set. The maximum possible sanction for the violation is a 4-year ban.
Meantime, Hilton says the Anti-Doping Commission handled the situation badly. TVJ Sports caught up with the athlete as the commission met to discuss the matter.
It is understood that the anti-doping rule violations of Commonwealth Games 400-meter hurdles champion Khalees Spencer and Riker Hilton, a mile relay bronze medalist from the 2011 World Championships in Daegu, South Korea, was among the agenda items discussed by the Alexander Williams-chaired JADCO board. This came more than 6 hours after Hilton confirmed with TVJ Sports by phone that he had been informed by JADCO via email that he had been provisionally suspended on the grounds that he declined to provide a sample for testing last summer at the Stadium East field and must now face a disciplinary hearing.
Honestly, they never do them job properly because of that, like, you are supposed to make person know that you are selected for doing the drug test, and nobody not do that. Like, you cannot see one athlete sit down and then you know them supposed to do it, and then one heap of time after when the person will leave, you have to just try and talk about how them did get. No, you make a person know, so them never do them job properly, man. I just that me not understand.
The former St. Jago and Louisiana State University athlete indicated that when he had been drug tested in the past by IAAF and NCAA officials, he had always been properly notified that he was singled out for doping control.
The hero of Trinidad and Tobago's historic 2006 World Cup qualifying campaign has asked the current group of players to create their own history as they seek qualification for the 2018 showpiece in Russia. Head coach Dennis Lawrence, who as a player scored the vital goal in the playoff against Bahrain 12 years ago, said that while that feat should never be forgotten, it's now time to achieve something new. TNT are going head-to-head with Panama Friday evening in another crucial World Cup qualifier in Port of Spain.
I now want these players to create their own history. I want history for these players and them to become and say, right, we're here and we want to take up the mantle and we want to take Trinidad and Tobago to another level. So I've given ownership to them now that what we've done is never to be forgotten. But at this moment in time, it's not really important. It's what they do now to take us forward. That's what I'm interested in.
Lawrence was appointed in January to help retrieve TNT's Flagging World Cup campaign after the country lost their opening 2 games against Costa Rica and Honduras. They lie 1 from bottom of the 16 final round standings without a goal. But even with a positive result needed against Panama Friday and then against Mexico next Tuesday, Lawrence says he's not feeling any pressure.
I'm not pressured because I think the work that I'm trying to do, I've got direction in the work that I'm doing. I've got a philosophy in my head and I've got clear direction what I want to do. I think sometimes if you don't have direction, you can feel pressured. So the most main important to me is to stay focused, to work on the things that I believe that we're going to do to get the result. And the pressure from the outside must not affect me, because if it affects me, it affects the players. So the only thing I can control is what we do in this room here as a group with the players. And that's all I'm going to be focused on.
To hockey now, host TNT might be the team to beat in the FIH World League second round tournament. This after they registered their 3rd straight victory, this time against the United States in the warm-up match on Thursday. Ruskin Mark of C Sports has the details of that story.
Young Busters against the United States and created several good opportunities. Time and again, the speed of the TNT flankers caused the Americans some unease at the back, and it was desperation time in terms of defending that kept them out. In fact, that was the theme for the first period, as TNT laid siege on the American citadel, but just couldn't break through. And then they got another reason to step up when the mighty Russian outfit assembled in the stands, scouting their group phase opponents from the host nation. Well, that seemed to inspire TNT as they got another penalty corner, and Quan Brown showed them how it's done as his rocket slices through a wall of bodies and in for 1-0 TNT. That was the final score in this one, as TNT remained perfect with wins over Barbados, Chile, and now the USA heading into the tournament play on Saturday.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and CaribVision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the color of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
A recap of the major developments of this day before we go. A potential trade row between Jamaica and Brazil over the corned beef ban, with Kingston insisting it won't lift the ban until it has proof the products are safe. And in sport, Jamaican athlete Khalees Spencer going to court to clear her name after the Jamaican Anti-Doping Commission claims she violated the rules by not submitting a sample. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports around the clock, log on to CanadaNews.com. We'll be back here again on Monday, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a safe weekend.